space, the final frontier.
And pushing the frontier forward is the most technologically advanced machine ever built. No, not that one. This one. The American Space Shuttle. It flies through space at 18,000 miles per hour and can withstand external temperatures of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. At liftoff, 2 solid rocket fuel boosters provide 5 million pounds of thrust, and just 2 minutes after launch, the shuttle has already burst through the atmosphere at 3,000 miles per hour. The 2 boosters stand 150 feet tall, the largest solid rockets ever to be flown. Each one comprises 4 factory-prepared segments that are assembled at the launch site and bolted to the shuttle. And the diameter of each segment is exactly 4 foot 8.5 inches. This means that the boosters are very tall, but they do look a little on the thin side. In fact, the designers would have liked to have made them just a bit fatter, but there was a problem. The rockets are made by the Thiokol Corporation in Utah and shipped by rail across the states to the shuttle's launch base in Florida. Along the way, the train has to pass through several tunnels, and the tunnels are only wide enough to allow a load with a maximum width of 4 foot 8.5 inches. So, why is that? Well, it's because the tunnels were built to accommodate the trains, and the trains have a standard axle width that has to run on tracks that are exactly 4 foot 8.5 inches wide. Why this rather odd gauge? It's because the American railroad system was built by British expatriates, and they built them on the same jigs that had been used to build the British trains, which meant that the axles were exactly 4 foot 8.5 inches wide. So why were the axles made that width? Because the first railway lines were built by the same people who built the pre-railway tramways, and that was the gauge that they used. And why did they use that odd gauge? It's because the people who built the tramways used the same jigs that had been used to build the wagons, and that was the gauge that they used. Why did wagons have that odd wheel spacing? Well, that's because of the roads. If any other width had been used, the wheels would have broken because of the wheel ruts on the roads. And the wheel ruts? The initial ruts, which everyone else had to match for fear of destroying their wagons, were first made by Roman war chariots. Since the chariots were all made to a standard design by Imperial Rome, they all had the same axle width, 4 foot 8.5 inches. And why this width? Well, war chariots were pulled by 2 horses, and the average width of 2 horses' backsides is 4 foot 8.5 inches. So the next time you watch a news item about the space shuttle blasting off from Cape Canaveral, remember that the maximum possible thrust developed on takeoff was effectively decided 2,000 years ago by a Roman wheelwright measuring the width of a pair of horses' rear ends